Welcome to the Crewcast, the Crew's live podcast about video games and all things Crew. Join us and many of your favorite crew members as we review games, talk about the new Crew series, answer your questions, and much more. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of the Crewcast.
Welcome to the Crewcast episode 20 for the 19th of October. You are joined today by Extra Fun, Gizmo, Sarah, Piper, and the lovely Buzz. And let's get right into the main news.
All right. Well, first off, you guys look a little scary, so I'm not sure what happened.
It's Halloween! Almost.
Next week.
Almost.
But first, let's start talking games. Watch Dogs, delayed until spring of 2014. What's up with that?
I think that's okay. I would rather have a really polished game that works fantastically than a rushed game that's got glitches and bugs.
Yeah, agreed. So many games get rushed these days that really it's about time that there's, a lot more time spent in the games. Because when they get rushed, as soon as they get bad reviews, that's it. You're not going to play them. And at the end of the day, the waiting, spending longer to make a game is well worth the amount of sales you're going to get if you get positive reviews on that game.
Yeah, what I think was kind of funny on this is they had an advertisement for Watch Dogs, which kind of implied, you'd have a couple months of time to play GTA 5, but then welcome to Chicago, which is where Watch Dogs takes place. But I think those people are going to have more than a couple months to hang out in GTA 5. I think it's a good thing in general. I think publishers always push arbitrary dates. There's dates that you want to hit. Obviously not hitting Christmas is going to hurt them in sales. There's going to be a lot of people buying new consoles. And if they can get Watch Dogs for the new console, they probably would. So they might lose some sales that way. I think this is a great time to strike with a new title, especially if it's supported on the new consoles. So that's kind of a negative for them. But this game's got so much press that unless it takes even longer, I think that they'll still do okay. So in the grand scheme of things, I think it's a good idea. You want to put out something that's a quality game instead of just putting out something that's just to hit a date and get sales.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think we're all happy, that they're going to fix things. We're disappointed that we'd like to play it sooner, but, hey, there's enough other stuff coming out that gamers will still have quite a bit of stuff to play.
Yep.
All right, next subject. Now, back on September 13th, Rocket kind of tweeted that he wasn't going to be putting up any more weekly updates, that he was going to stay quiet and get focused and get this game released, and which game, of course, would be the DayZ standalone. So it's been over a month now, and he has stayed silent. Does this mean that we're very close to a DayZ standalone, or does this mean the date that people were hoping maybe before the holidays this year is going to fail? Which was funny because last year it was going to come out at Christmas. Then they really expanded on what they were going to do with the game and rewrite a bunch of stuff. And now here we are coming up on a year after that date and no word in sight. So good thing, bad thing, game's close, or if people giving up on this game?
I'll believe it when I see it.
I definitely don't think they've given up on the game. It's both a good thing and a bad thing in my mind. It's a good thing because he's focusing on the game at least, or at least he says he is. I believe he is. He gets a lot of hate sometimes from people like, oh, where's the game, Rocket? Come on, man. So you got to think that maybe he got a bit tired of all the hate and all the moaning and just wanted to... he's a good guy. He wants the game to be good. The same goes for, Watch Dogs. The game's been delayed, so it's going to be a good game because it's going to have the commitment to it and the work's been put in there. It's not just been thrown out there like some games that we've played in the past.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. I mean, Watch Dogs is delayed by how many months? Like 5 months? I mean, this is, as Bob said, 12 months now. So, I mean, I do think the game will happen. I'm really, really hoping it will. But has it just been too long?
Well, can I be devil's advocate and say that we're living in an age of technology where things are like being created out of thin air, and we expect things sometimes to be made quicker than really they can be made?
How long does it really take to make a game, though?
Exactly. That's you saying that, but think about it really. How many people has he got working with him?
Well,
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
developing a game nowadays, an A1 title, say Assassin's Creed, GTA, Watch Dogs, they probably have at a minimum 30 to maybe 100 people working on it. I would think Arma 3, from what I heard, had a team of around 30 working on it. DayZ, I think, has like less than 10. I mean, maybe even single digits, like 5 to 8 people. Rocket, you love him, but he's not a developer either. I mean, he developed the standalone, or not standalone, but
The mod.
the mod, but he wasn't a professional developer before that, and he's managing it now. So I'm sure he's had a learning curve to get used to that. I mean, I think it really sucks that it isn't out. I've yet to be impressed with any snapshot type video they put up of progress. The zombies, while they've moved better, um, some of their like walking moves and maybe some of their attacking moves, they still look like they move pathfinding wise horribly. Some of the same UI things we've seen where like he couldn't pick up this or that. He had to like drop something in order to do something else, and entering buildings looked a little clunky, like he got stuck on doors. It hasn't wowed me at all, and that's really disappointing that we've come this far. And really, I've seen nothing to make me go, wow. I mean, I have faith that eventually the game will be out and it'll be better. Um, if he can fix the pathfinding, he's at least going to be a step ahead of all the mods. Because I think more is being done, all the different DayZ mods right now that are taken over by the community, than the current standalone. But the crutch that all the mods are going to have is they can do nothing to fix the zombie pathfinding because it's part of Arma 2, which was never made to have like melee attacks by the AI. The AI in Arma is supposed to shoot guns. And we've all seen that when we've done different Arma mods. It's all AI for soldiers. Zombies was nothing that they ever planned. They never planned that somebody would have a melee weapon where they'd run up to you and hit you with a sword or hit you with whatever.
Yeah.
And the zombies have to close in on you and hit you with their hands, bite you. So the mods are never going to be able to fix that unless somebody comes up with some like miracle way of doing it. But none of them have yet. So I think it's tough. I mean, we're seeing all these great mods that are coming out with all these tweaks, base building and new inventory systems and having 3 primary weapons, that you can toggle through. A lot of cool stuff, but I don't think standalone's shown anything yet to really amaze me, except they've increased the quality of the graphics. They've improved the Arma 2 engine. What's the game called that they're actually taking it from, which was a modification of Arma 2 already? Was it
World of
Take-
Tanks or something?
Was it World of Tanks?
Something.
Or is it Take on Helicopters? I don't remember. It's one of those games was a modification of Arma 2, and they've taken that, and they've taken some stuff from Arma 3 and put it in like the volumetric clouds and stuff. So it does look nicer. It's not like totally night and day. It's not like when you play Arma 3 and it looks really nice. It's kind of a step between the two, but it hasn't wowed me, and I'm disappointed we've had to wait this long. And there's all these other games that are attempting to do this genre. None of them have done it greatly, but I just worry that the longer it takes, the more people are going to get just disenchanted with waiting and are going to be playing other things. And when it does finally hit, people are going to be like, yeah, whatever.
I think one of the bigger issues with waiting longer to release a game is the expectations from the people who were originally interested in the game get higher and higher because they think, right, they've had longer time to work on it, so they shouldn't be much as far as bugs and stuff like that is concerned. So I think it's not necessarily a terrible thing that it's taken them longer, but on the flip side, when it is released, it should be like exceptional considering the amount of time they've had. And I think they'll get it with both barrels of it, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen the community in general. All of us have seen it, and we all have different views, but we kind of encompass that gaming community. People are going to expect a lot from this, especially with this much time. So he really needs to hit a home run. And, I mean, I hope we're close. I mean, he's been quiet for a month, but if they don't get it out this year, I think that's going to be a major failure on their part. All right, so Gizmo can talk about this next
one. We saw that Rockstar has said that they're working on a new famous IP, so one of their game franchises, and people are speculating that it could be Red Dead Redemption 2, possibly Bully 2, or an LA Noire sequel.
Ooh.
Now, I haven't looked at this link, but when you say new famous IP, does it mean new IP for them, like they've acquired some new IP, or are they saying it's one of our old IP that we're doing something new on?
They haven't actually said specifically. I think it was one of the employees of Rockstar said they're working on a next famous version of an IP. Next is kind of the word that makes it sound like it's a sequel, but it could be they're working on GTA 5 for like next gen or something for PC.
Could be that HD remake of the Warriors that we've been wanting.
Oh, now that would be amazing. But yeah, they have mentioned that Red Dead Redemption was kind of a franchise they were looking into building upon. You never know.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on it and let people know. All right, so next up, we're going to do some crew news. So first off, quickly a little recap. We just last Saturday did our October mega live stream, and we did it with Minecraft games. So we did Stop the Boom, which you're actually seeing air now, also on our channel. I think the 18th. Friday the 18th, we put up the first episode. But we did Stop the Boom, we did a mini tournament, we did Game of Craft. What else did we do? Was that it?
We did Boz trolling me again.
That was fun.
I got so many messages about that as well.
They all enjoyed it.
Yeah. God.
So, I mean, we had a lot of fun. We've learned some lessons on it. I know I had some people say they thought that we should skip the tournament type stuff because they thought it was too slow. Some people said they loved it, being able to fight and be on the live stream. So it kind of went both ways. We're going to continue to do those type of things. We're just going to come up with maybe better ways to speed up people fighting. Because we did have people who weren't there. We had people who when they stepped on the pressure plate, they didn't get everything equipped correctly, so we had to like re-equip them. So we need to streamline things. But what were your guys' thoughts of that evening?
I really enjoyed it.
Well. Yeah, I think people enjoyed it. I enjoyed it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's nice to play with people. And I actually really enjoyed the tournaments as well, even though something really bad happened to me. But I thought it was. I mean, I know people think it's slow, but like, I mean, it's not like we're. How can I word this without sounding bad? Like, we're streaming for entertainment, but when we did that, we were more streaming to play with people than we were for people to like watch us and stuff. And people came in the server and they were watching from the bits above and stuff, and it was just really good. It was really good atmosphere. So, yeah, I enjoyed it.
I think it's a. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say you dropped your sword, lol.
Moving on.
I think it's a case that really the reason why it is so slow sometimes is because not only do we have to obviously moderate the chat as well as do like all the stuff of the tournament, but we also want to talk to the people who are in the tournament. We want to. I think we're bad for that, even though it's definitely not a bad thing. We're bad for like wanting to interact with our fan base But again, I don't think that's a bad thing.
No, I think that's one of our top things, that we actually
Yeah,
interact with our
definitely.
fans.
Yeah.
If we do Game of Craft and we do Stop the Boom and that's it, we're only going to be able to have maybe 10 people play with us. But we
Yeah.
have a couple hundred people watching. So to do those games like we did was great, but it limits the players. But the tournament, I mean, we had 64 people in the tournament. Now, a few people didn't show, but I'd say probably no more than 5 or 6 disappeared.
Yeah.
I mean, we had 60 or so people playing, and we had people who wanted to play who couldn't. But I mean, we tried to get a large number of people in to let them fight, let them be on the stream, let them talk and have a chance to speak. Some people went crazy with that. Other people were more timid. But I mean, you don't see a lot of channels doing that, and we just wanted to do it, and that was one way to get the most amount of people in. And we are going to do it again. And when we do that again, if it's not something you like, I mean, you could skip watching that part of the stream or catch the next stream. But we do enjoy allowing people to play with us, and that's a great way to get a large number of people. We're going to try to control it better to try to make it a little bit more smoother. But I thought, regardless, it went really well, and I think people enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. The crew are going to Minecon in Orlando, in Florida. There's going to be 5+ members going across. I think we count Mrs. Buzz, don't we? Yeah, there's going to be 6 members going to Minecon in 2 weeks, I think. It's actually 2 weeks today. We're filming on Friday, so a week on Saturday if you're watching live, and very excited. I think we're going to be filming a lot of IRL stuff, and I mean, just the fact that we're going to Minecon as well is going to be quite cool. But I think it's going to be more interesting for people to meet everyone, because I mean, in the UK, the only people that I've met is Alicia and I. So I think to actually go across the pond and meet people that we've been speaking to for 2 years and playing games with and practically every evening is going to be worth it. So, yeah.
Yeah, so it should be fun. We're going to sprinkle some videos in from Minecon. We'll try to do maybe like a nightly report, like something when we first get there, saying, "Hey, here we are, night before Minecon, blah 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 blah," and then do some Minecon footage and put it up for the first night, and then do some more Minecon footage and put it up on the second night. And we'll be there for a day or two after Minecon, so we may put up some stuff just traveling in the area, just some crew stuff. So there'll be some different stuff in addition to some of the normal things we do. We'll already I'll pre-upload a bunch of videos so that we have stuff being released. Okay. Last thing. Now this is one that I didn't even tell the crew about. They probably didn't realize it until they read it.
No.
Yeah.
One of the things we did that people liked was we did interviews where I would interview a crew member, and I think all you guys have been interviewed. I think the only crew member right now that hasn't been interviewed is Kama.
Ah.
So I'm going to put a
And
video
you?
out.
And you? We never did you.
Nobody wants to ask me questions.
Yes,
Oh,
we
yes, they do. You are the person that people want to
I
ask the
would have
questions to
recorded
most.
it. I would have interviewed you.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a video up here in the next couple of days that says Kama's going to be interviewed, and send in your questions for Kama. And we'll resume that process, and we'll probably redo maybe interviews with other crew members also, because a lot of things possibly have changed since a couple years ago when we started this. And we might even interview some other, like some of our super fans that some people who have been around a lot. So we could do a little bit of more stuff. But Kama will be the next person interviewed, and I believe I'll have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure everybody else has been interviewed. I know you guys all 4 of you have.
Mm-hmm.
What about Danny? Because he was probably
No, Danny was.
He was interviewed.
Yeah. Okay, then yeah, I think everybody was.
All right, so let's move on to our main segment. Now, originally, when we did our TV talk about 3 or 4 weeks ago, we were going to all watch some of these new shows that we talked about. And then 3 or 4 weeks into the new season, we were going to talk about them. but your crew failed you. So we can't do
I
this
watched
topic.
one.
I watched all the
I
shows
watched
that
one.
I talked about. I've seen like 3 episodes of the 2 shows I talked about. I think 4 in one case. So I was all ready to talk about them, but
Sorry,
the
Buzz.
crew did not. So
I've
that's
been away. I'm not even up to date with like How I Met Your Mother or Big Bang Theory or all the shows that I watch now. I just
Boo, Piper, boo.
Boo, Papa, boo.
Oh, stop
And
booing me.
even Gizmo, the guy who watches like TV constantly, couldn't do this.
I've been catching up on Grimm.
Boo, Gizmo.
Boo.
So anyway, what we're gonna do is kind of as just a little impromptu talk. Just kind of a topic that comes up a lot with the crew is what kind of servers should we be running for the community? I mean, right now we have Crewville, which has the game world on it, the museum, and I think that's really it right now. We used to have a separate world in there, but we've got that. Then we have the Infestation, Supernaturals world, and Hard Life. Now, Hard Life has really stopped getting any play on it, so I've shut it down right now. But I think I'm going to just back that world up and let people download it. I think Hard Life has run its course. The Infestation Supernatural server seems to be pretty popular still. And we also have the RPG world. And the RPG world seems to have kind of died out right now. Not that many people are playing on it. And I think a lot of the problems with that one is because it's the old Minecraft. And a lot of our fan base seems to not be able to understand, how to switch to different versions. It's pretty easy to do with the latest launcher, but it seems to be difficult. So I think that's one reason why people aren't on it. And I think that's one reason why people weren't playing as much until I updated the servers to 6.4. So the
Yeah.
question really is, what kind of servers should we run? I mean, we run all the ones we just talked about. Those are all Minecraft. I was running Terraria for a while, but people really stopped playing on it. Maybe that'll change with the update. And we, of course, have the Mumble server for people to use to talk. But, I mean, what do you guys think is your opinions on the kind of servers we should be running?
Well, recently in some comments, I can't remember if it's on the forum or YouTube or both, people have been saying, just one or two, I'm gonna just feel people out with this, like Feed the Beast server. And we did a Tekkit server ages ago, and we had a few people on, but it wasn't that popular. So I don't know if Feed the Beast would be a good one or not. And it is quite intensive, Feed the Beast, and we've had technical difficulties with it in the past, so I don't know if that would be a good one or not.
Well, I think when we had a poll on the forum, Feed the Beast and Tekkit were like far back, the bottom two
Yeah.
things. So I don't see the sense in Feed the Beast or Tekkit, partly because they are beefier. So a lot of people have computers that can barely run Minecraft, but they can't run Feed the Beast, they can't run Tekkit. There are a lot of mods in those packs for those two things, and you really have to scale some of the stuff back. Because we did Tekkit at one point, and it was back when it had like the nuclear bomb thing or whatever it was. And there's some stuff that can really damage a world. So those I'm kind of leery of running just because we alienate people whose computers can't even handle Minecraft hardly. And then also it makes the server maintenance tougher. I mean, one of the biggest problems we have when it comes to Minecraft is we do a lot of servers that run Bucket. And Bucket updates, and Bucket still doesn't have a released, version, for 6.4. They never even have one for 6.2. They have betas and dev versions, but it always seems like about the time when you think they're going to finally get caught up, Minecraft comes out with a new update. And I'm betting 1.7 is going to come out before Bucket catches up with 6.4 officially.
And you would have thought with Bucket people working with the Mojang people that they'd be able to do that.
Well, it's a misnomer depending on how you state that. Dinnerbone
Okay.
and others work on Bucket, but they don't work on Bucket anymore. They work at Mojang on Minecraft.
Okay.
Bucket, they might still help here and there with Bucket, but I mean the Bucket team itself is the group that is a large group, but they're not all the ones who went and worked at Mojang. So I don't think Dinnerbone really puts any real work into Bucket anymore. He might help some of the people he worked with at the Bucket group, but it's a lot of work to do what they do. And then, of course, updates can break plugins. If they do the plugins right, they should work. But things do break plugins. So we're always in this catch-22, and that's kind of what's hurting the RPG server right now. We would hope to have been at 1.6.2 and then 1.6.4, but 1.7 is going to be coming out. So that server is very intense on plugins, and it makes more sense for a server like that to run on older versions that are stable. But that's hard for a lot of our fans to do. So we have to really decide going forward, stuff like with the RPG server, if we're going to just have to stick with the old versions, just so we can actually make, the server happen, so Moonveil gets out there.
I think. Sorry.
Go on, you go.
I think a good idea for a server that we could do, which wouldn't require like Bucket or anything, would be a Hunger Games server. Because I think Hunger Games has always been popular with all the crew fans and that. Plus, with Hunger Games, it's a lot of players, so a lot of people can play at once.
That's actually what I was going to say.
It's in progress.
Yeah. The thing we played the other day was really fun. Kind of Hunger Games type thing.
Yeah.
Before we go too far, though, I'm kind of curious. How do you play Hunger Games without Bucket?
Does it require Bucket?
Well, I mean, at least from what I've seen, I mean, you have to have lobbies. You have to have teleporting. You have to refresh the world back when it's over. I don't know if. I mean, maybe there's some Hunger Games servers out there that are running on like the latest snapshots or the latest version and using a ton of command block stuff to kind of simulate it. But all the ones I've ever seen kind of have used custom plugins of some type. Now, just yesterday, as Giz said, we did test a Bucket plugin that does the Hunger Games, and we live streamed it, and test went pretty well. If Giz wants to talk about that, he can.
The thing yesterday was so fun. Like the different classes that you could pick, there was so much variety. So it was so fun to see everyone kind of playing the different classes, and we weren't really sure what each one did. I at one point played a scaredy cat and ran away. I had like a super speed boost. I think
I
that
was a
could be
chameleon.
really,
That
really
was
good.
hilarious.
Oh yes, the chameleon is fantastic.
I didn't even realize that. I thought I'd started the game and it glitched or something, and I hadn't realized that it actually had taken effect. And it was just so funny. It was really good fun. I really enjoyed that. I'd like to do that again.
Yeah, I can see us building upon it and kind of like making it really, really cool.
Yeah. But could it be a server that we have running all the time?
I mean, it could be. I mean, that plugin is relatively self-sufficient. I mean, it needs a few other little things, but once the game's over, it stops the server, and then you just restart the server and have a script to restart it. It generates a new world each time, and there was a few problems with that. Like sometimes we spawned in like water, and there was not a lot of stuff close to us, land to get to. And that kind of made it a little less fun. But as soon as that round's over, it's going to generate a new world, and the next one goes on. So we had a lot of fun with that. It had a ton of classes. I'd say there was, maybe 40, 50 classes?
Yeah.
There was a book one with book bombs. It was awesome.
So, I mean, that one worked pretty well. I mean, you log in, you have a few minutes in the lobby, which is just running around the map. Once it then starts, it teleports everybody back to spawn, and then you have 30 seconds to kind of get away from people. Then the killing starts. Every time someone dies, a thunderbolt happens. It announces it on the server. If you die, you can spectate. You're kind of like a ghost, so you're actually kind of see-through. Very, highly transparent. And then eventually, when one person remains, it announces the winner, closes the server down with a message announcing who the winner was, and then the server restarts in about 10 or 15 seconds. So I think it works well. It is intensive. You got to have your server set up well, depending on how many people you want to allow play it. I think we had it set for 64. I don't think we ever got more than about 40 people or so playing it last night. But I think, at least for me, I never really had any issue. I don't know if it got very laggy at all for you guys.
It did get a little bit laggy for me towards the start, but when I played it a bit more, it got a bit less laggy.
Yeah, I think I had like 1 or 2 lag spikes. It was when did we all get teleported
Well,
and then
that was me doing
yeah,
something that's not part of the
yeah.
game.
But apart from that, it was fine for me.
So I mean, there's always going to be some people who have lag, but yeah, that's definitely something we could run. Um, it seemed to me when we did the voting, the one thing people really seemed to like was just really a legit world where they can claim land.
Yeah. Maybe we
So,
should go back to basics in the future.
so I mean, I think what we might do is, I mean, Hard Life's done. Um, I'm not sure on the RPG world what makes the most sense if we need to focus on an older version of Minecraft to get that out, or if we just need to shut it down until 1.7 comes out and shoot for updating for 1.7, and then if 1.8 comes out or 7.4, you're just gonna have to stick with 1.7. But I think we need to pick a version for Moonvale and just say that's what we're going to support, and then hit it. Maybe 1.7 makes the most sense to wait for that. Um, but I think the Survivor Games world is a potential thing. Maybe just another legit world where people can go around and use the claims to claim land and some basic other plugins, because it seems like that's where we get the most activity. And I think it just is a worlds where we have to refresh them every so often because people just get tired of it and want something new.
Yeah.
As for other games right now, I can't think of any that are, maybe Starbound. We might have a world for that if it takes off. Maybe the Terraria update, we run some stuff on it for a while. I could see us doing some impromptu stuff, but this is a great time for you guys to let us know. I mean, what would you like to see us run servers on? I mean, do you like the ideas of the Hungry Game style worlds, um, legit worlds? Do you want Moonvale more than anything? Do you want Hard Life, back? Do you just like the supernatural stuff? I mean, what do you like? What do you want us to do? So post in the comments and let us know. All right, next up, deals of the week. On Steam right now, through the weekend, you can get the Batman franchise 75% off. So that means you can get
Ooh.
Arkham City, which is the latest one. There's another one coming out, Arkham Origins, but that's not out yet. But Arkham City is the Game of the Year edition for $7.50. No idea what it is in euros or pounds. You can get the Arkham Asylum, which was the original, the Game of the Year edition, for $5. Now, what's really cool is you buy these games, or if you've already bought them on Steam or the CDs, they will now not have that gaming for Windows garbage. So two very good games. $12.50 if you don't have them, you got both of them.
Tempted.
And the next deal is our buddy Humble Bundle. Now, what they've got right now is it's an Android bundle, but if you don't have an Android phone, and you should have an Android phone, if you've got an Apple phone, throw it in the trash and get yourself an Android phone.
I have a Nokia. That's like
This is why I'm in the crew.
I have a Nokia.
Yeah, I don't do technology.
But even if you don't have an Android phone, this bundle still gets you the Steam games for the PC. So you get both.
Well, that's good.
So if you got an Android phone, you get double. But the games right now are Anodyne, Incredipede, Greed Corp, Ticket to Ride, plus you get the USA 1910 DLC for Ticket to Ride. If you pay $6.15, as of when I wrote this down, that number may change, but it was $6.15. You get the Bard's Tale, which is a classic RPG, and you get something that a lot of you crew should like. You get Worms Reloaded.
Yes. I love Worms Reloaded.
Really
Favorite
good
ones.
game.
Plus, they've said there's going to be more games added to the bundle that if you pay more than $6.15, you'll get. So I would bet there'll be at least 1 or 2 more games added. But what's really cool is you get this bundle. You can get the games. You get the games for your Android phone or your Android tablet. Doesn't have to be a phone. And you can get the Steam versions for your PC, which is really cool. So if you don't have Worms, if you do have Worms, go see your doctor. But if you don't have Worms, $6.15 or more, you can have Worms, Bard's Tale, Ticket to Ride, Greed Corp, Incredipede, Anodyne, and whatever these other games are on your PC. In my case, I have an Android phone. Lizzie has an Android tablet, so these games can be installed on those. So you can't beat that. I did notice a couple days ago Mario was playing the Bard's Tale, so I don't know if he bought this, and he actually is, I think, on Mumble right now.
Ghost of Mario is here now.
Yeah, I bought the bundle the other day.
Do you have an Android device, or did you just get it because you can still get the PC stuff?
I do have an Android phone.
You got the
Oh,
same one
God.
as me, haven't you?
Yeah.
Activating tractor beam. All right, so now we are joined by Mario, Android user.
Hey!
Hey.
And he came at a great time because we are now down to the last segment, which is your questions. So I want to stress, in the description of this video is a link. Click it to submit your questions. You can type the questions in. You can make it a video on YouTube. Make it unlisted. And then in the form that you fill out, post us a link to your question. You can make an audio question, record it with your computer, put it on SoundCloud or something, and put a link to it. We love your guys' questions. Try to be creative, come up with interesting questions, funny questions, whatever you can think of. We do get a lot of the same questions. Can I be in the crew? Why don't you play Cops and Robbers? How did you guys meet? So we don't usually answer those because we've answered them so many times. So try to be creative. But our first question comes from Anthony. Will you guys do a top 10 funniest moments this year?
I would hope so.
Be awkward if we didn't
Have we
have any.
been funny
There's-
though this year, guys? Have
There's
we
been
actually
so
been funny?
many moments this year.
Really?
Gizmo has been funny. Funny looking.
Yeah, well, Piper, you drop your sword, lol.
Oh, that wasn't recorded, lol.
Now I will
Oh my God, I
say,
sound terrible.
I will say that I think we've kind of called it like our top moments. I don't know if the first time I think we called it funniest, but I think we kind of tried to shift it. Maybe we still called it funniest. But
No,
we're
I
looking.
think we changed
It was
it.
top, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. We will definitely do a top moments, and when we do that here in the probably next month or so, I'll put up a video saying post your suggestions. I think we did a forum last time, but people to suggest anything that aired in 2013 that they think were some of our top moments, and we'll definitely do that again. Plus, we'll add some of ours, and then we'll put it up for voting by you guys, and then we'll air a video which shows what those moments are in the order you picked. So definitely that will happen.
Woo.
Now this next one, I'm going to let Piper handle the answer to this because I think this is going to be something that you guys are going to like. But a question came from Christina, and she asks, are you guys still doing the Sunday theme builds? It's been a while since you've done one. Thanks, and keep the great videos coming.
Well, yes and no. We are changing the format slightly to them. We kind of found ourselves being very busy and people went back to school and all kinds of things. So we kind of stopped doing those as it was a lot of work for people. But we are going to bring back a theme build and it's going to be a public server for anyone to come on and join. There will be a different theme. There will be in a video announcing it. I don't know if it's going to go on before this or after this was.
The video should get released the same day as this, but after. So if you want to.
Okay. There will be a video coming later on today, which will have the IP in, and it will have all the details of what you want on the server because we have diamond mats again. You've probably seen them in loads of videos. How to claim, the rules, and what the theme is. So we look forward to seeing all your builds, and we will be showing a video of the builds as well. We'll be floating around and stuff. So yeah, it'll be good, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, and just to clarify, Piper's going to have a video, like she said, it's going to air a few hours after this one. That'll explain it all. But just so you guys who are watching this, our faithful podcast watchers, it's going to be very similar to the live stream builds, where we've set up a world with a lot of diamond blocks, exactly like the last one we just did. You'll claim your diamond mat, and you'll then be able to build. We'll leave the server up for like a week, and then after you've made your build, you want to like build and put something down that says, hey, this is my build, and maybe a book in Minecraft that you write how you built it or what inspired you to build it. And Piper and other crew will go around and probably try to pick some of the better ones, and then Piper will film like a video where she flies around, shows off the builds, reads what you guys had to say. In some cases, we might bring in some people, some special guests maybe, to
Maybe.
verbally describe theirs. But I think it's a lot of fun to get back to the theme builds. But this way we open it up to all of you guys to have a chance to build. And, you know, there's a week-long period that you can do it, so everybody should have a chance if they want to. Okay. So that ends episode 20 of the Crewcast. If you guys want to do a very scary Halloweenish goodbye, feel free.
Goodbye.
Bye. Lol.
Thanks for watching the Crewcast. We hope you tune in again next time. Compass.